We've been on for a minute.
Yeah.
But I'll slate
Oh,
it
have we?
if we're ready.
Damn
Yeah.
it. Again. We're going to have to erase that herpes part.
I think I might do this whole episode in Christopher Walken's voice. So
Wow.
if anybody has got an issue with the host, it's a good show.
Talented.
It just goes to show.
And now she catches more fish than I do, so I've grown to regret that.
That does say a
Probably, I was very, very fat. I was at least 5 pounds heavier then than I was now. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Another podcast we're going to bring to you today, episode 89-ish.
Give or take.
Yeah, we're still working on some to get uploaded, but we have with us today Nate Aloysius Bailey, who's just returned to us from pillaging the Northeast in Nova Scotia on a Harley ride.
Yep.
So we're happy to have him back.
Good to be back.
saddle sore.
No, not really.
How's the hiney?
You were walking pretty funny, so
There's a little chafing. That's to be expected.
to be expected.
2,000 plus miles. Take a toll.
you did 2,600 miles on a bike.
2,640.
Not a bicycle, a Harley.
Motorbike.
Motorbike.
Correct. Yeah.
That's strong, man. That's a
Yeah.
strong pull.
That's we did 5 U.S. states, 3 Canadian provinces.
Yeah, that's badass.
No big deal. No
That's
big
very
deal.
cool. Very
Also
cool.
joined by Jake the Snake. He has blessed us with his defined jawline again. Happy to have him. And a new guest, Troy Haselip?
Wow.
Haselip?
I think
That's
it's
embarrassing,
it's
Tom.
actually
Hasselhoff?
Hasselback.
Hasselhoff?
Hasselback.
Samsonite.
Samsonite. Indeed.
Troy, how do you pronounce your last name?
Haselip. Thank you.
Haselip.
Haselip.
Hase. So there's a space in there.
Well, there could be if you want. I mean, for enunciation
Enunciation.
purposes.
Gotcha.
It's got a hip.
So we're stationed at out of Watershed Fly Shop. Troy is the owner operator.
Corvallis, Oregon.
This is Corvallis.
Yeah.
We're in Corvallis.
I thought we
Yeah,
were in
no,
Eugene.
thank
There
you.
was some long
Ooh.
haired, which is weird because I'm kind of from this area. And is it migrating north? Is that a thing?
Yes, indeed. That's
Okay.
the. Yeah, that's there is a kind of famous fly shop down there, but
Yeah.
we're trying to overtake.
In
that.
Eugene?
I know.
Oh, I thought those
Believe it
guys
or
went out
not.
of business.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got my wires crossed.
Well done.
Huh.
Well done.
Huh?
Watershed, big deal. Big
Oh
hairy
yeah.
It
for
is.
Sure, man.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, thank you for inviting us to your domicile, your dojo.
deal. You're welcome.
Yes.
Anytime.
It's a pretty sweet cot you got in the back there.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you're a fly shop owner.
Yeah. A lot of
You
long
lose your
hours.
house and buy a shop.
Honey,
So-
I got a great idea.
Yeah.
We're going to be
you guys
rich.
fit into a 300 square foot room back
Right,
there.
right. How important is clean water to you? No, I get it.
So Troy, I know that the foot traffic there is huge, but for the local folks and the people out there across the world that haven't made it in your shop, give us a quick rundown, introduction of yourself, please. Sir.
Introduction of myself, Troy Haselip, true redneck fly fisherman. Okay, grew up throwing worms, throwing spinners, fishing little creeks for trout, and boy, it wasn't until I think my last year of college, which was 10 years ago, that I got into fly fishing. And so, I felt the tug of a big ornery rainbow trout, and I thought this is something I could get into. So I let my wife know that I was going to need to buy a fly fishing pole, not a fly rod.
fishing
but a
pole.
Fly fishing pole?
Yeah.
Okay. so yeah, that's how it all started. And then it ended. It ended. It hasn't ended yet, hopefully. But I'm here. I own a fly shop. Seems a little insane.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure you're the envy of a lot of of guys out there,
Yeah.
including myself, in regards to the shop. Not so much the looks, but you know what I mean. So the idea is here is Troy doesn't know this yet, but this is kind of episode 1 of Infinity in regards to fly fishing. So
We're just fishing too.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're
let's
fishing. Yeah, I mean the guys.
let's cross the aisle. Let's reach our hands across the aisle. you
Guys,
know?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
guys, I'm a
we'll-
fly fisherman.
we'll-
This morning,
we'll
guess
bridge
what
the
I
gap.
did? This morning.
Is it? Can we say it?
Can we
on
say
here?
it?
No, you can't.
'Cause I have
will
some-
say it. I will say it. There's nothing appropriate about what you're going to say.
Okay.
But
True.
what I did this morning is I took 2 little boys out
Like
fishing.
I said, can we?
That sounds bad. I took 2 little boys out fishing with worms.
Yeah,
Come on. Caught some bluegill, tore it up.
totally.
Good times.
Totally.
So, not necessarily a purist here. I have a little bit of a hard time throwing the bead, not gonna lie, but
Yeah, yeah.
it is
Yeah.
effective. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna beat up on the bead. Anyhow, go ahead.
No, so and that's a good point. I'm sure, as episodes, move along, we'll talk about that. We'll probably break down some barriers. We'll talk about some perceptions, and potentially, bring some information to the forefront that might change some people's perception of, fly fishing.
Yeah, hopefully.
So this is one of many. So Jake, before we move any farther, I couldn't help but see, the fly fishing industry. A big show is ICAST. There are a lot of vendors go there, and there's films and stuff.
Right.
I couldn't help but notice.
EYEKAST. ICAST.
Close. Yeah,
Is
it's
that
big.
different?
Yeah.
It's big.
That was a different
Big
show
deal.
I was at then.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, we
Um,
weren't at that show. Sorry.
There's lots of vendors awards and just accolades of people in the industry, fish, records. But congratulations on your interpretive dance of the salmon life cycle.
Mhm.
That was a beautiful dance,
Mhm.
and
The key is really
it
to
brought
be.
a tear to not just my eye, but many women's eyes.
What was really
the,
unexpected
in
was
the
the
audience.
actually animatronic grizzly bear that I had on stage with me, which really ended the dance quickly.
Right.
Even though I am double jointed in the hips, which kind of give me an advantage when it comes to the salmon dance.
especially the spawning.
The spawning
that
portion.
that 30-minute spawning portion
Yeah.
of the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, man.
Beautiful.
Over 7.6 million views on the dark web. I didn't know you were in the crowd, but not surprised.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. man. Congratulations.
Yeah, no, it was a good time. Good time. I'll be
Good.
back again next year.
Good.
So.
Good.
But Nate's here. Nader. I've always wondered that. I've been fishing with you. We've all been fishing with you in several occasions, and always kind of wondered why that you favored the cutoff Lee jeans to the breathable wader when wading. No matter the temperature, I wasn't sure if. I know you run hot. Your sweater,
Right.
but it's kind of funny. Before we actually went on air, we were commenting on some of the trends of the ladies these days, which would be the high-waisted and equally high-cut cut-off jeans,
Well,
which you seem to have adopted as well.
They all got it from me.
That's
how it
You're a
was.
trendsetter.
Yeah,
You
that's
son of a gun.
exactly right.
You son of a gun. I
I
say
see just
don't
walking
change.
around, see it walking down the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Just think, soaking wet
Yeah,
on the riverbank.
exactly. It's like
raises the bar,
you're like chumming out there.
right?
I'm gonna be honest. It's pretty disgusting. Don't change, Nate.
Please don't
This
do
is
that
how
again.
you keep
Don't
all
ever
the
change.
This is how you keep the fishing holes to yourself.
That's
guys.
right.
Oh,
That's
good
true. You
call,
always
buddy.
You
you
scare
always
everybody off.
Good
you always
call.
garner a wide berth around you.
That's right.
So
That's right.
good for you.
Yep.
You're sick.
Well, the other thing I do too, which I just found out, is pretty similar for John's case, but I also have a boombox that I keep with me, and it sounds like the music that I play also to keep the other fishermen away from me while I'm enjoying a hole to myself. Sounds like I just learned it this week. Coming up on archery elk season here pretty quick. We've all been trying to do our best to get into elk shape here, and I just found out, John, your exercise playlist pretty much exclusively Taylor Swift and Katy Perry.
At the same time.
Yeah.
One of
It's a
both ears.
mashup.
Yeah.
It's a mashup.
It is. It is. Yeah.
They're sweet gals.
I run two 2 iPods.
One in each
Taylor
ear.
Swift in the left,
Doing it.
Katy Perry on the right.
No, dude. We know
Yeah.
your technological skill level, and you don't have an iPod. You have a
Yeah.
Walkman at
Yes.
best.
I run 2 Walkmans.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, there's something about those upper octaves that just, I
Mhm.
just kick it into another gear, especially, after about 1 minute into a workout when my
Right.
heart reaches anaerobic pace.
When
I'm
you're ready to
already
come
at
down.
160 beats.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. It's
Oh,
good stuff.
boy.
It's inspiration too. Hits
Strong.
don't lie. Hits don't lie. Um, so Troy, question for you, sir. You're busy businessman. But how have you been able to keep up with your schedule, especially now since you have introduced really this groundbreaking fly tying class that is pants optional? And because you're in a college town, I mean, do you have enough, you have enough coverage here? I mean, is there enough
have
square
enough
footage
room?
for this pants optional fly tying class?
Wow.
I question a lot of the the material that's being used on some of those classes. Very shiny,
Yeah.
curly.
Yeah.
How's that working out for you?
You know, I'm not sure how to respond to that.
It's kind of like Fight Club.
It's kind of like
The
an
first rule.
intro to. I don't know. It's an intro to fly fishing. It's kind of a
Yeah.
eclectic group.
Yeah.
Anything goes. So it's just it's a good, firm. This is where we're at, people. So
It's a good icebreaker.
yeah, it is. It is, and it makes people either run screaming out the door or very comfortable very quickly. So there
If
you
you
go.
can be comfortable being semi-nude in front of a large group of people, you should be able to tie fly.
Yeah, absolutely,
Right?
especially with like 75-year-old men
Right.
right,
Right.
there at your availability. I mean,
It's a real wrinkly group.
but they're not afraid. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. Okay, so enough of those shenanigans. So we were talking a little bit before we started recording about your history, fly fishing. But has it always been a dream to own a fly shop, Troy? I mean,
Always? No, not
I
at
mean,
all.
since you started fly fishing.
No. I think business is cool, honestly. I think business is cool, and I think that's what makes America great. Again. No, in all seriousness, I think business is really cool. I think it's cool to build something and find something that you love and go for it, I think anybody that's been in this industry or is in this industry has thought that, boy, this is going to be so great and we can make money doing something we love, but putting the two together is very difficult. In any, whether it be archery or rifle hunting or, whatever, bass fishing, fly fishing, it's tough to put the two together, and I think you have to be a little bit creative. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I feel like we're getting there as a shop. We're getting there, and this is a relatively new shop, only a little less than 3 years old at this point. So, we're getting there, and we're trying, and I think that's what matters, and keep showing up every day, trying to figure it out.
No, like you said, just living in a place where you can pursue your passion and make it fruitful and in a financial way is pretty awesome. So,
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
Yeah, and like I said, we're getting there. We're trying to figure out the balance between because this is a unique fly shop because there's not very many of them available. This is a small town, relatively small town, Corvallis, true in-town fly shop. As in, we're not a destination. We don't have the Deschutes River in our backyard. We don't have the Flathead. We don't have the Missouri. We don't have, you know, the Bulkley or the Kispiox or whatever in our backyard. So we're a true in-town fly shop. So people actually expect us to know something about every little location and every type of fishing. And so, you know, I've kind of prided myself in the last 10 plus years to really kind of figure out a little bit of everything. When I first got into fly fishing, I wanted to catch every fish on a fly rod. I didn't care if it was a bluegill, a crappie, a salmon, a steelhead, whatever kind of trout. I didn't care. I wanted to catch it on a fly rod. So this is a dying breed of fly shop, and so I like the challenge. I think it's cool. I think it's really, really cool. We haven't made it really popular or profitable necessarily, but it's a work in progress. And I think as long as people come in here knowing that we are legitimate, we have good gear, we have what people want for the most part.
I mean, it's not like this is not a mom and pop shop. I mean, you carry high end stuff. This is a lot of high end brands.
Yeah, we've got CF Berkheimer and Sage and Sims and some nice stuff. Beulah, Hatch and Bauer, and we've got good stuff. It's a matter of educating people about what's kind of a faker, because there's a lot of those out there, and then what's a legitimate brand, what's a brand that's going to stay true to themselves and also be good to customers, help them out with warranty issues and whatnot.
So just to jump back real quick, you said that the fly shop, the pro shop, fly pro shop is a dying breed. You're a smart guy. I mean, you and I haven't known each other a whole long time, but I respect you. Obviously, you do well.
That is really
you got your you're right. The one fishing adventure we did go on, I didn't catch shit, but probably more on me. but no, I mean, you obviously have your fingers in some other businesses. So I know, step back and you looked at this business, I'm sure, through sober eyes, hopefully, and sober, and looked at the numbers, and so why is brick and mortar pro shop? And I think we could probably talk about archery shops or
absolutely
gun shops or whatever it may be, vacuum cleaners. I mean, like, how many Hoover mom and pop brick and mortar shops do you see anymore? So why is it a dying breed? I mean, I think I know the answer, but why do you think it is?
Well, I mean, I think the easy answer is, well, there's all these online places and there's the big box stores. We got Cabela's and Dick's and Bass Pro and all these guys that are dipping their hands in our industry, in the fly fishing industry. And then there's the mega shops. There's some mega shops out there. I'm not going to name names of the big fly shops, but everybody knows who they are. And they started out relatively small, but they maybe started out with $1 million or $1 million loan, one or the other. And, so these little shops, they, just like anything else, if you buy a little bit, well, nobody wants to give you a deal on a little bit, so you're going to pay full bone for it, so you got to keep your expenses small. And that's hard in this day of business. It's hard to keep things small and still be profitable, still be at a reasonable rate that you can make a living. I don't think most guys have figured it out. And I'm not saying I have. I like I said, I think we're a couple steps away, but we're getting there. From day one till now, we're in a different place, which is great. We're blessed to be in a different place. But, it's tough. I hate to say you got to buy your way into this industry, but just like anything else, if you have a little bit of capital and you can spend serious dough, you'll probably be more successful, as long as you're not an extreme douchebag.
Yeah.
Which,
yeah.
You
can't sell it if you don't have it.
Yeah, that's the whole argument, right?
Right.
But if you don't have the dough,
right.
You can't buy the gear, right? And so we're pretty fortunate. We really try to pinpoint things that we think people are going to like, and then we get things that we think people may kind of sort of want to stretch for. Like a new Sims Gore-Tex jacket. Fantastic jacket. Probably the best wading jacket on the market. They have the best waders on the market, hands down. But it's a stretch. You know, it's a stretch to get there. You know, Gore-Tex waders $400. You know, so it's a stretch for a lot of folks. And it's a nice wader. But $400, people think, well, gosh, I could do a lot with $400. So
I could buy 60 pairs of Daisy Dukes like Nate,
oh, Nader.
That's right.
and those will last me for at least a year.
I get all mine at thrift stores.
Oh, so he doesn't even
Pockets
go
out.
there. It's like
Pre-distressed.
$1 a
Yeah,
pair.
pre-distressed.
That's right. It's all coming off anyway.
Yeah.
Now, do you pay for holes in your Daisy Dukes? Do you have to pay for holes in your Daisy Dukes?
No, I sweat so much the holes just occur naturally.
That's a
Well said,
toxic.
sir.
That's a toxic. Man. No, you mentioned box stores though. I mean, there's a lot of them out there. Obviously, the internet, is obviously
The old
a-
interweb,
yep,
www.
the old Google machine.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know. I think maybe in other industries too, but it might be the same with, in the fly fishing industry. Do you think there's an intimidation factor with coming into just a dedicated, like, quote unquote, pro shop?
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys might be a little like, man, I don't want to go down there. I don't want to seem like an idiot. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
Yo, absolutely.
You see that?
Absolutely. I think there's a huge misconception that because you step in a fly shop, you're going to pay more for this brand of fly rod, even though the big box store sells the same thing for the same exact price. I'll never forget it. Probably a year and a half ago, a kid came in here, and he was a college kid, good kid, but he just got a brand new Echo fly rod with a Reddington reel, and he asked me to put a fly line on it for him. And I wanted to know directly why. He lives here in Corvallis, and he ordered it online, and he actually ordered the wrong thing. So he actually cost himself money because he ordered the wrong thing, because he had to ship it back on his dime, and then get the right thing. And anyhow, I said, why did you order it online? And he said, well, gosh, you guys are expensive. And I said, well, how much do you pay for that rod? He said, $170. I said, that's what it sells for here in the store. How much do you pay for that reel? $100. That's what it sells for in the store.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have it, I would have shipped it in here for free. And I'm just going,
There's a learning curve there.
Well, unfortunately with that, I think we all fall into that millennial generation, which we're on the latter side.
Yeah,
82.
yeah. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Anybody
81.
older than 82?
No.
You're 81?
Yeah.
You're 81?
Yeah.
I know you're older than me. You're a good-looking
Aren't I?
man. For
Aren't I?
being- Yes.
It's a lot of collagen injections.
No, actually, you are not a millennial. That's fantastic. Good for you. Unfortunately, I am. But
Exennial.
I don't know what you are, but you're something.
Like on the liners.
Yeah.
I like to operate in gray.
Yeah.
Well, some people say 80, some people say 82. So you're you might be. Anyhow, you got to, gosh, education, teaching people that small business is a positive thing for, we were just talking today in the shop. Some guys were in here and talking about how, some people view small business people as shady, and I'm thinking this is a controlled industry where the manufacturers set the prices. Like the price is the price. I don't know what to say about it. Somebody says that's expensive. I say, well, you're gonna pay the same thing online. You can download it on your phone right now. Here you go, same price. So,
But there's perception and there's reality, and I think that me being obviously older than everybody here by months,
wise.
by months,
Way
super
wise.
I got you by a little bit.
you do, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both you
Giddy
guys
up.
are old. That's
But
the
no,
old-
there. I
that's
mean,
the
there's.
old couch.
I think that
That's
the
right.
perception out there is with most people
Not necessarily
today,
wise.
younger people anyway, is that if I buy it online, I'm going to save money, right? It's just going to be cheaper. I can find it if I work at it a little bit. I can find it cheaper online, right? I mean, that's the perception. The reality is, you're saying, at least in the fly fishing industry, is that most cases that's not the case. It's going to be equal to.
no, I mean the thing is, you're gonna buy the right thing. I would like to. I feel like I can say this at this point in my career. You're gonna buy the right thing in here. I mean, people come in here all the time with crazy setups that I'm just going, what are you gonna do with that? What's your plan with that? And they have this plan that they read on the internet, and I go, I gotta be honest with you, man, that is a terrible idea. That is not going to work the way you think it's gonna work. I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm just trying to be honest with them, and I tell them that. I say, hey, this is what I would have done. I would have bought this line with this rod. The reel doesn't matter as much, but you want to have the right size reel at least. Doesn't matter necessarily the brand. Just depends on your pocketbook. But these guys get the read the old interweb story, and it's quite frankly it's embarrassing. I mean, I try not to laugh at times because it does get that bad legitimately. So, you know, I try to tell them what I have done, because I feel like I'm a fly shop owner that was a consumer for a long time, and I fished a lot, and I used a lot of different stuff, and then I used even more when I bought the shop. I used some other different setups, and man, not that I know everything, but boy, I fished a lot. I'm not a fly shop owner that stays in the shop the whole time. I don't work here 5 days a week. Probably should, but I don't. So I fish the other days. I think it's important for me to fish and for me to figure out what's going on so I can report back and try new gear that comes out and whatnot. So
Yeah,
Does that
I mean
excuse
that's
work for your wife? I got to, dear.
yeah, it's
Field
my
testing.
job, honey. It's my job. This is my job. It's tough. I know.
genius. Genius.
Can you pack me a lunch? Can you get me a sandwich? Can you get me a Sammy?
Dad.
Can you drop me off and pick me up at
Yeah.
the launch?
You be my
Eat at
shuttle.
house
Will you
down
be
there
my
for two,
shuttle?
please?
Drop me off at 4:30
Oh,
in the
man.
morning, please.
Right.
And then I'd like to be picked up at 9:30 at night, if that's okay with you. Thanks, honey. I love you. Goodbye.
Yeah, so I mean, you have the product knowledge aspect of it, and then but there's so much other information that is available to the consumer by coming in the door. I mean, they just have to walk
Yeah.
in and ask the questions.
Well, it's all about local knowledge, right? It's all
Yeah.
about. I mean, when you go to a new area, I enjoy going into fly shops. Still today, I enjoy going into fly shops. I went into Deschutes Angler the other day. Loved talking to John Hazel. Great guy. Fun to talk to. Excited still after 30 plus years in the industry. He's still excited about fly fishing. That's cool. People said I would get burned out. I had people tell me that I'd get burned out on fly fishing. I'll tell you right now, today I'm more excited about fly fishing than I ever have been. It's still really, really fun to me. So it's great to go into a store and get local, legitimate knowledge. And we don't always tell people exactly where to fish. I almost think that's inappropriate to a certain extent. Yeah, because you got to discover places. That's part of the fun in fly fishing. There's times when we'll say, yeah, go here, turn here at this road, go down, walk to this boulder, and it's good. But a lot of times, especially when we're talking coastal fishing in the winter, probably not going to be real open mouthed about it. Pretty tight lipped about stuff like that. But,
Even when you're close friends, apparently.
Yeah,
John,
John, you've
Eastburn.
been pretty tight lipped about a lot of things.
Tight-lipped. It's almost like it's welded shut.
Yeah. Yeah.
The man in
Me?
the iron mask.
No, I am always
You're an open book.
happy to help.
Right?
No, you are not.
Yourself.
That is not true at all.
Oh my gosh.
Took me years to figure out some creek, and I'm going, oh man, that's the creek, really?
This is horrible. Why'd I come here? I'm never coming back again. Right? Yeah. No.
How? So you said that you're invigorated with
That's a whole nother topic.
with with fly fishing again, and it's even more exciting to you than it ever was. So what was the what is it about having a fly shop that makes fly fishing even cooler,
Well,
or
you know,
more interesting?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure if it's even the shop, to be honest with you. I think, some people are wired to fly fish and wired to shoot an elk with a bow, and some people aren't, right? I mean, I love fly fishing, and every single year that I fly fished, and John, shoot, almost, 8 years ago I met you?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was right around 8 years ago. It had to be 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yeah, it was, because I remember bringing my boy when he was 1 year old to Wallowa. But, I mean, you can remember 8 years ago from me barely knowing anything about steelhead till now that, not that I know a lot, but I'm very excited about it. Obviously, I get excited about steelhead fishing, and I get jacked up about it. But I think it's just fishing. It's just going to the next level, right? I mean, it's knowing a little bit more. It's understanding a little bit more about the animal that we're pursuing. You know, for a lot of guys, it's figuring out exactly where that elk is gonna be rutting this year, right? You guys know it, so I probably sound stupid right now. Yeah, we got that figured out.
No,
Thanks.
That's all right. That's what the magic of editing
Well,
is for.
Yes,
But whatever species, you got to understand their habitat and their
absolutely,
migration.
absolutely.
And
Figure
Yeah.
out where
their
they're
feeding
at,
patterns
and
all
for
that.
me, it's how to swing a fly up in their grill so they see it and it sits there for just long enough for them to get pissed off and grab it, right?
It's been fun. You're, I don't know. By no means am I taking any kind of credit for how good a fisherman you are. Kind of.
I'm sure you will.
No,
Go ahead.
I'm not. I'm
Keep
just
speaking.
saying. No. I mean, it's been you have learned almost. I mean, really, you're so geeked out about it and passionate about it. I would say lifetimes of information in
In
a
very
short time.
amount of time.
It's
10
pretty
years, yeah.
pretty awesome. I mean, it really is. Your walk with the sport has been pretty fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been
So-
fun to, some guys, everybody gets geeked out about one thing or another thing, but some guys spread themselves out. Brewing beer, elk hunting, fly fishing, gear fishing, doing this, doing that, doing that. I mean, I pretty much did nothing but fly fish, I'm not smart enough to have all those other deals going on. I can't focus on being good at a bunch of things. And when I always tell people, "Oh, do you want to be good or do you want to just kind of dabble?" And you could tell right away who's really interested and who just wants to go cast, for a couple hours, which is fine. Both are perfectly fine. But I really wanted to be good at it. Because that's just my competitive nature, Yeah. And not competing against other people, competing against myself.
I call bull crap.
That godforsaken fish.
Yes.
That freaking fish
Yeah.
that's not eating my fly
Yeah.
is really pissing me off. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a freaking tiny little bluegill, a 4-inch bluegill. If he's not eating the fly, why not? By golly, why not? Why is he not eating the fly?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's been the biggest source of your education? Has it been friends, family, or books, other fly shop owners? What has it been?
Yeah, I mean,
A culmination of all that.
well, honestly, I started out, and I'll give some credit to my compadre in Albany. I started out in that fly shop, and I didn't really, to be perfectly honest, I didn't know fly shops existed. I didn't have a clue when I first started. I didn't know there was such a thing as a fly shop. I mean, when's the first time you knew of a fly shop, a fly fishing shop? You two, because I know you've known for a while.
it probably was when I moved out here 12 years ago.
Exactly. Okay. So even growing up in Oregon, I grew up in Lapine, Oregon. I didn't know there was a fly shop. There was a fly shop right down the road, but I didn't really understand it. Okay.
Jim Dexter.
That's right, Jim Dexter.
That was his fly shop.
I went to school with his son. Great guy. Yeah, and I knew Jim. But yeah, I didn't know what the heck he was doing in there. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought he was, I don't know. But he was some sort of mad genius from what I understand.
Yeah.
Wish I would have dabbled in there. He was literally right down the road from my
Yeah.
house that I grew up in. But what was my inspiration? A little bit of fly shop. I went as far as I could with the fly shop, and then honestly, just curiosity, right? Going out there, being out there, doing it, and that's it. And luckily, I was blessed with extreme athleticism, obviously.
Hand-eye
Obviously.
coordination.
Yeah.
And I fantastic. No, I mean I was an athlete in high school and college,
Glutes
but I was.
of
I'm not.
steel.
I'm not anything special. Anybody can fly fish. Absolutely anybody. Hence John Eastburn. But no, I just getting out there. You got to get out there. You gotta love the outdoors. And if you don't, this is not for you. Period.
Mhm.
You know.
Well,
So
you were
it's
talking
a fun activity, but it's not for you if you don't love the outdoors.
When you're talking about just getting into it, it sounds like we're predominantly self-taught. Would you recommend to a new fly fisherman now, though? There's different types of casting and this and that. Would you recommend to someone that's just getting into the sport, find somebody or a local shop or what have you that's got a workshop, teach you how to cast properly, that sort of thing? Or, in your opinion, is that something, a new fisherman could go into it blind, kind of self-teach themselves, YouTube videos or whatever? What would your preference
I mean,
or
so
suggestion be?
fishing with a lot of people and fishing with a lot of beginners and doing a decent amount of teaching at this point, I would not suggest somebody get into it just purely by themselves. Now, I talk to a lot of young kids that are getting into it. And none of us are wealthy by any means. So fly fishing isn't the cheapest sport, right? And so they're trying to get into it on a budget.
Sure.
A budget of which they don't understand. They don't know what is what. Right? We
Right.
have no idea what we're doing with our money at 19, 20 years old, but or 22 or
36.
39, whatever. But anyhow, they're trying to get into it on a budget, and I totally understand that because I got a family. I'm on a budget. I understand, but at least going into a fly shop, your local fly shop, is a great idea. And you hear every once in a long while that that fly shop, they were stuck up or blah 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 blah. Let's be honest though, most fly shops are awesome. I've been into a ton of fly shops since I started fishing, and most of them are unbelievable. Most of them are very helpful. Honestly, I personally haven't had a bad experience in a fly shop. I have called some shops, specifically like way up north, that weren't super helpful, but they're trying to protect their own country's water, and I get that. But yeah, absolutely. Go into a fly shop if you're beginning. Go into a fly shop if you're local. You're always welcome to call us or call a fly shop, email a fly shop. But what I would recommend, just being a fly shop owner, is go there. And this is what I did as a consumer. This is the honest God truth. I called Ashland Fly Shop several times. Not several, but a few times here and there. And in other fly shops, and I would feel guilty. So I would order stuff from them on the phone, and they would ship it to me. I know that sounds a little ridiculous. You don't have to do that if you call in. That's not recommended. But you go into a fly shop, spend $5, $10, $20, and give back to that local resource. And I'm not trying to pump up my own shop, but I'm trying to pump up the local fly shop. I'm a big supporter of local business, doing it local, being intentional about spending your money locally. And if you get some knowledge from a guy at a fly shop, go spend $20 on flies or whatever, or leader tip it, buy your next fly rod there, instead of doing the online option. Buy a fly reel, fly line, learn something. And I almost guarantee you that guy's going to teach you something more than you knew than when you first stepped in that shop. So.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned budget.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of perceptions out there, obviously. And I think one of them is that, fly fishing is a rich man's sport,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Poppycock. Another round.
More brandy.
Jeeves.
More
Get
brandy.
me another martini,
Uh,
please.
But I mean, it's not the case. You know, it's. I don't think it is. I mean, there's an array of price points.
Absolutely.
And when I first started, I still own a lot of those rods.
Yeah.
I have a lot of. I mean, my wife says I have a problem, but
Here
but-
you are with
but-
Winstons and Sages.
no. But I mean, I still have. I
buys
still
cheap
have
whiskey.
my first.
But he
Yeah,
buys
no,
cheap
what-
whiskey.
I
It's
still
all-
have my
it all
first.
offsets.
My first glass Fenwick.
Oh, that's cool.
It was a 9-weight.
The Fenny.
Oh boy.
First
That's a-
glass.
that's a
It was a
beefcake.
9-weight, but it was a noodle, right? Because it's glass.
Yeah, it's cool.
I still have that.
That's cool.
I actually caught fish on that a couple years ago. It was bad. But I mean, that rod was
Hold on. Okay, so
$45.
okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, but all I'm saying is it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. The barrier to entry is not I think
what
as steep as
people
what people
Yeah,
think it is.
not what people think it is. People think that they're going to come into a fly shop if they want to get a point of entry, right?
Right.
They think they're going to come into a fly shop and spend $400 to $500 to get a rod reel line. That's what they think.
Yeah.
You know what? Fortunately, manufacturers have actually made it very inexpensive to come in. Okay, I mean, you can get a setup for $150, rod, reel, line, backing, leader, ready to go, for $150. So that's great. You know,
Mhm.
there's in you know there to me that is the absolute minimum that you want to spend, period, because beyond that it gets very low grade graphite. It gets to be very, very low grade graphite, and there's some
And
big
lines get
the lines are absolutely
you know
garbage,
will
yeah.
last you a day.
Yeah, you pay $10 for a line.
And
you just,
that's the more reason to go into a shop because the
Yeah.
shop guy is going to know, hey, once you get below this line,
yeah.
you're going to be coming in here next week upset because
That's
something
right.
went wrong with the
Something
product.
went wrong. You're gonna be
And-
looking for a warranty on your $10 line, buddy. That's not gonna happen.
And generally, you don't even find that stuff in a reputable shop,
No,
too, because
never,
that's
absolutely
their-
not. I mean, because people don't want to sell garbage. Fly shop owners don't want to deal with. Oh, this thing it doesn't seem like it cast right. They want to set people up with. It doesn't have to be the most expensive, but it's got to be decent. It's got to be decent. Period.
So the value in a fly pro shop or any pro shop, whatever you're selling,
Absolutely.
that's a brick and mortar. There's a ton of value. It sounds like in education.
Yeah, that's it. I
Right?
mean, you hit the nail on the head right there, Jake. I mean, you get, not only do you get local knowledge, but these guys, I mean, I have reps come in here all the time that teach me about the new gear. They say, oh man, this line, it's got a little bit longer head on it. We won't get into specifics, but it's got a little bit less stretch on it, and it's gonna be a little friendlier casting line. And you think, oh, okay, and then you go and cast it. You go, holy cow, this thing's awesome. So you get value added real life experience, and then most of the time I buy that stuff. I just buy it because I don't want to be a hypocrite selling my stuff. I have or have owned almost everything in my shop, which is darn near embarrassing to say because I've got a lot of inventory here.
How many do I have to buy to get a free one for myself?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'll take that.
Exactly.
when you think
And
about,
sometimes,
when you think
I
about
mean-
it all, I mean, I know that's true with especially the fly tying material. You have a problem, but
Oh, that's not the half of it. Man.
but
I mean, yeah, I have. a problem.
probably not a lot of people could say that. So,
My
I mean,
wife's not
you
going to
have the
see this,
knowledge.
right?
She will.
Great.
It's actually a live feed. We were doing a Facebook Live with her right now, specifically just her. So
Hey, honey.
Just saw the crying emoji float across the stream.
So we got that.
Retirement gone.
So there's that perception of, it's a rich man sport. That isn't the case. I remember when, I was probably 5 years into it. I was probably 13 or 14 years old, and I still didn't have the money to afford that knife stuff. But I was efficient, with casting, and I was, studying about the bugs and the entomology, and I was starting to match the hatches, and I remember standing next to, I'd swear the guy was, my dad always said, "Oh, that guy's a doctor, or that guy's a lawyer," because they were all geared out, in their nice, sim stuff, Patagonia, sage rod, in their float tubes, and we'd be right next to them, and we'd be just spanking them. We'd be catching, we were dialed in.
Yeah, the
And we
difference
had-
was that guy had all the gear but did none of the
That
homework.
didn't have the knowledge.
Didn't do any of
So
the
there's-
homework.
And at that age, I was just like, "Oh, this is awesome." Of course, at that age, I was probably a little bit more competitive than I am now. But
Really?
it just goes to say, there's a lot of, I think, knowledge will take you farther. And that's really
Absolutely.
that's honestly really why I got hooked into fly fishing, because, when it came to trout, trout fishing, whether it's in lakes or rivers.
America's fish.
Yes, right, American fish.
Yes.
Bass
Number one
fishing,
game
warm water
pursuit.
fishing, fish that routinely ate, bugs. I was learning that, hey, I could outfish my dad with the right fly when he was using worms, trout fishing, say in a river situation, and I was using the right fly. And so that's kind of what got the hooks in me, is fly fishing was actually more effective,
Yeah.
which is probably a whole nother conversation. But that's kind of why I got, hooked
So what's
on it.
more important? Quick digression.
I
Placement, casting accuracy and placement, or the fly selection itself?
Oh, this will be a good one.
This-
'Cause
this
I
is-
think
this is
John
a-
and I are going to disagree on this.
Yeah,
I'm
we-
going to let you go first.
Well,
Go.
this is a whole podcast.
Actually, can I take a quick?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No problem.
Take a quick break.
3, 2,
All right. And we're back. Refueled. Drained the tank.
You don't have to bring urine into this.
But it. Okay.
I took a dump actually.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
No,
Lo-
we'll cut. Now we'll go.
Launched a canoe, did you?
Did you try on the fan? Did you try on the fan?
I thought
Who's
it
a
would
fan?
be
Gross.
cleaner actually just to spray Febreze on my hands than to actually use the sink. So I just did that.
I was back
Oh.
there. I noticed you were out of TP, so I just used like 5 packs of dubbing. So I owe you.
Floss?
I owe you about $10 worth of Senyos
Yeah.
laser dub.
things I don't know.
Yeah.
Senyos, right?
Some kind of fly tying material. I
Senyo's
assume.
laser dubbing. Yeah. Good stuff.
Start over.
All right.
Bring your mic in just a touch.
Sorry.
The fact is that we don't know which one that'll be, except
Yeah.
for the
Nice.
white.
It's good.
We're gonna have to.
There's a little white spot on your mic.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's perfect.
We're gonna have to throw that sponge out.
I am the pan.
All right.
All right. So
Do it.
before we broke, I asked a question. In your opinions, what's more important? The accuracy of your cast and the location of your lure, or the selection of the fly itself?
And
This-
John.
And okay, well, it depends. There's so much that goes
Wait,
into this.
No, you're stalling. Troy, go.
Damn it.
Well, like I said before we broke, I think John and I would generally disagree with this, and you actually phrased it. You didn't say lure, because we were talking about fly fishing, but
Idiot.
Sorry.
we
can start over again if we
I
want.
mean, lure. Come on, jeez.
Why are you even
Oh,
here?
What
God,
are you
get out of my
doing here,
store.
Nate? Jeez, we're in a fly fishing shop here. Jeez.
Where's the blue foxes?
Where are the worms at in this joint? Oh, I can't find them.
Yeah.
You guys sell beer here?
We should. Holy crap. Anyhow, you phrased it. What's more important, the accuracy of your cast in the presentation or the selection of the fly? And like I said, I think John and I would actually possibly disagree on this, even though we're both nutty fly fishermen. I actually think that the fly can be important, yes, but I think most of the time the presentation is more important. And that is very hard for people to understand. I think there's times when fish get dialed in, especially trout, but
So when we talk about presentation, we're talking about placement, rate at which it's moving, height in the water column, depth. Thank you. Anything I missed there?
speed at
yeah.
what the
Speed at which
yeah.
it's going down the river or swinging across the river or, being stripped. Um, I'm speaking specifically of river fishing right now. I'm not speaking of lake fishing. I think lake fishing is a whole different category. But
See,
yeah,
that's what I was gonna say.
so there you go. John, go ahead. What's your
Counterpoint.
counterpoint?
Okay,
So
It will be
let's narrow it down to
counterpointed.
just river fishing.
okay, river trout fishing,
America's fish. Go.
America's fish.
America's fish.
Outdoor madness
You
champion.
guys sound like
Trout.
That's gonna be our
like
first-
mad at the trout. Want the best.
Everybody's
guys.
mad, even us. Like
Guys.
nobody's happy except for the
Guys.
trout.
Guys.
Come on,
Guys, there I was. I was trout fishing in the river. No, but
Nobody gets
then
that
there's
reference.
streamer fishing. I mean, dry fly, nymph. It just it's a very long topic. But I will say overall, it's probably presentation. I will agree.
Well, play devil's advocate. I know you can.
Yeah, he would have if I would have let him go first. I think he would have maybe
Okay.
taken that
Okay.
lead.
There are circumstances where river trout fishing. So trout are opportunistic, but they're also quite bright. They're all about subsistence. So they will focus and key on whatever biomass is most prolific in their environment, right? So that it could be no matter what bug it is,
Yeah,
no matter what bug it is, right? So there could be
you know what any of those words mean.
there could be 5 different species of caddis.
He actually has Wikipedia up on his laptop
There's
right now.
there's 5 different species of caddis,
Caddis.
right? And there's actually hundreds and hundreds, but say in this particular river system there's 5. There's other stuff in there. There's stoneflies. We're getting in the weeds, but okay, say there's 5. Of those 5 species, they could all be different colors. They could all be different sizes. Whichever one is the most prolific, they're going to key on that because that's what they're like one-track mind. They're just born to eat, right? So the trick is, and it's not in all fisheries, but the trick is in some, you got to match the size, the color, and if you don't have any of that, you aren't going to catch. In some fisheries, you aren't going to catch anything, no matter how good your presentation is.
Okay, so as rooks, like I am, how do you determine that standing on a bank and looking at a piece of water?
Well,
Wrong.
Oh man! Oh man!
Sorry, brother.
Oh, ouch. How do you determine that standing on a bank, looking at a piece of
Yeah.
water, what the fish is actually eating?
That's what I'd like to know.
Okay. Do you have eyes?
2.
2. Okay. As long as you can see, you're almost always going to determine what size and color the bug is, and I'm speaking specifically of things that we can see. Let's see if a fish is grabbing the surface. You're gonna look up top, and you're gonna see. Okay, I see some adult aquatic insects flying around. Let's give John's example, caddis. Okay, caddis are actually easy to catch in the air. You can just grab them, and you'll see them, and you just cover it up and go, okay, that's tan. Tan wings-ish and kind of a olive-ish body. Oh yeah, I've got some olive elk hair caddis. It appears that they're hitting them on the surface. Say you don't see bugs and you still see fish that appear to be eating on the surface. They're actually, we're gonna get in the weeds again, but they're going for bugs that are actually hatching up out of the water, emerging. Okay, that makes it a lot tougher because you can't actually see the bugs emerging a lot of the time. Okay, let's say nothing's happening on the surface. Well, maybe they're eating nymphs. So you can roll over a couple of rocks, and there's aquatic insects in almost every river in the Northwest. You can just look under a rock and see all kinds of bugs. And then you have your choice. You can look in your box and go, okay, that's a mayfly nymph. That's a stonefly nymph. That's a caddis larva right there. And it's just identifying. And basic entomology books will help you with that. It's really, fly fishing sounds so romantic and so scientific and so difficult, but really it's A plus B equals C. I mean, it really is that simple. And then, maybe all that's not working. You pull a big old friggin' ugly streamer through there and they might grab it.
Reaction
So,
bite.
yeah, absolutely. Put it in front of them, make them make a decision, and see what happens.
Mhm.
Right?
Yep.
Fun way to
So-
fish.
So your suggestion would be to learn what's food is in the system.
That's
try
right.
and match that
That's
The
right.
first and foremost,
The-
and then try and learn to read the river and determine where your placement and your presentation is going to be.
No, I would actually. I'm sorry, Nate. I would actually reverse that. I would learn where fish are, first and foremost. Learn where fish are. Learn, not necessarily what they're eating, but learn how to get your fly or flies to them and present the fly or flies to them correctly, and then the entomology for me comes in third.
Gotcha.
In probably 85% of the circumstances, I would agree with Troy.
Yes. There's always the exception, and John's going to point that out every time.
Yes. Yes. You're my exception. I normally wouldn't be friends with a guy like you, but alas, I am.
Your wife pays me well.
Let's
Let's just put it that way.
Jeez, that was deep. That was deep. We
Yeah,
should probably
you-
have another episode on just that
Yes.
topic alone.
No, it's good though. I mean that was
Yeah.
very informative
Yeah.
at a generally a surface level.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
it was.
Yeah.
I learned something.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people that listen to your podcast and that are going to listen to your podcast would benefit from information that is very baseline. And I try not to talk over people's heads. And if I do, I just ask them, hey, if I'm giving you too much, just let me know. Not that I'm some sort of genius, because I certainly am not. But it's good to not talk over your audience's head. And I think if you become a good presenter of a fly, you will catch more fish more often. Okay. The bugs are secondary. Not everybody's going to agree with that. I guarantee you entomologists won't agree with that. But I talked to a world famous entomologist 2 years ago, and I let him know that I was swinging flies for trout on the Deschutes River. World famous river for the salmonfly hatch and for big stoneflies, big old bugs. If you don't know what a stonefly is, it's just a big nasty looking bug. And steelhead and beautiful little steelhead flies, that big. And I told him I was swinging streamers at about 3.5 inches long, and just had the most amazing day. And I never even heard of people catching that many fish and that big a fish. And he was looking at me in awe. Like, are you serious? Yeah, because that's the way I wanted to fish for him. And I was getting way bigger fish that way. Really? Boy, I didn't know. I mean, he knows leeches are in the river, but not that many. And so, even to the guy that, I'm not going to say his name, but even to the guy that's the bug genius, he was still learning, and he was humble about it. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was just fishing the way I wanted to fish, and doing it to the best of my ability. And it was awesome. It was a great day.
Were you trying something new that day that you're trying to still master, or are you just like,
Yes, absolutely.
You know what?
Yes, I was. That is exactly it. And that's half of fishing for me. I want to do something. I want to be a fisherman that understands the whole scope of fly fishing. I don't want to just do one thing all the time. I want to be able to fish. I want to fish to the fish. I want to give them what they want. And man, fish are pretty dang predatory. It doesn't matter what they are. I was watching a little bluegill just ambush worms this morning. Just ambush them coming out of the weeds and wham. That's cool,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool. Trout. I've seen trout just slam flies before, I've seen steelhead and salmon do the same, It's just, when for whatever reason, and I'm not sure if the anadromous fish are necessarily predatory. That's a whole nother discussion. But they're eating swung flies. They're eating flies that are swinging right in front of their face, and they're just grabbing it. Or they'll come
I
from
think they are.
9 feet away.
Yeah, I think they
8,
are.
9 feet away to just
Yeah.
crush something.
No, I think
Whether they're trying to kill it or eat it, I don't know. That's a whole nother argument. John has figured it out. Evidently, he thinks they are, but I don't know
pick
for
on me.
sure.
Pick on me. No. Yeah, no.
No, but I mean,
Yeah.
you know, he's seen it
No.
enough too to kind of feel like I feel like they're kind of eating.
Yeah.
I feel like
8,
They're
9
kinda
feet.
eating.
That's a long way to travel.
yeah,
for a
they,
fish.
they're traveling a ways to go crush a fly
Mhm.
or a spinner. You
Yeah.
know, let's be honest, they hit spinners too, or jig or whatever. You know, they're going quite a distance to go kill something or eat it, one or the other. So there you go.
Yeah, it's awesome. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so have you ever shadowcast before? We polled a bunch of people. We told our customer base that we were coming up here, and your
That was
your
number one
legend-
requested.
Your legend
Question.
is growing, you know, by the year.
Wow.
So
Wow.
is that legit? Shadowcasting. legit?
Shadowcasting. Shadowcasting.
Judging by the
Come on, you gotta
the
at least
shirtless
tell the people.
Brad Pitt poster from
Yeah.
River Runs Through It on your fly shop wall.
God, Brad, can you make another River Runs Through It, please? That was phenomenal for the fly fishing
Yeah.
industry.
All right.
Yeah, it was dynamic. We
River
need a great.
still runs through.
We
it.
need. we need a great fly fishing movie to come back out. Honest to God, that was the best thing in the world for the fly fishing industry. Talked to guys that were in the business back then, and they were
Like
crushing it. Not joking, they were crushing it.
Huh.
Yeah,
Kind of like
they were
Hunger
absolutely
Games has done
crushing it.
for archery recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
yeah.
For the recurve, yeah, absolutely. That's made a
Yeah.
comeback.
And compounds too.
Really,
Yeah.
compounds,
Oh,
huh?
jeez.
Compounds come in. That's just that's might as well shoot a rifle, guys. Come on.
Right? Pretty much.
No, just
Color me rifled.
cover with. Nice, I like it.
All right.
Well, this has been awesome. I mean, we're going to for everybody that's listening, like we're going to go deeper into all the topics that I mean, if you'll have us, we'd like to go into it. And honestly though, like connect with us, like get a hold of us socially, you know, through Facebook or our website or Instagram, whatever case may be. Let us know what you want to hear, and obviously we have a couple of seasoned pros who you could tell they were just like they had the reins, they were pulling back because they're like, I don't want to go over their heads. But you know, the fact of the matter is, like, we have people that are very seasoned that want to know more. So, and we're, you know, there's no way that you can cater to all groups on a podcast, you know, on a singular podcast. So there's going to be some topics that we are going to talk over people's heads, and there's going to be some that, you know, people are like, I know all this already. And that's cool because everybody is learning at a different pace, and everybody is at a different, you know, progression level and a stage. So, you know, we're going to do our best to cover it all, and you know, Nate and I are going to learn along the way. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Good point, Jake. Something that's been on my mind, kind of derailing here a little bit, but you huh?
Gluten.
Food in general, carbs. You spend a lot of time on the river, obviously. You know, we've spent a lot of time in the woods and the river. And we've seen a lot of crazy things in our you know, adventures. But what's the I know you got some of them you probably can't say, but what's the craziest thing or what's the weirdest thing that you have encountered? Circumstance, whatever, story. That first comes to mind. Anything
On the river,
yeah, or it could be anything in particular.
fishing in general.
Fishing,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, boy, I've had some I think 3 extremely close encounters with bull elk. I'm talking like feet, like 10 to 20 feet coming up on them early in the morning. Yeah, let me think. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. September-ish.
When they're in their rutting areas.
When they are when they are down, getting dirty, doing their thing.
There was a cow.
No.
No.
But nope, just bulls. Big bulls. Thinking like, man, that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
Pretty freaking cool. I love that animal. I don't know if you guys know this.
They stink that close, don't they?
They have a smell to them, absolutely. That's not, it wasn't, I was so adrenaline that I did smell, but it wasn't like maybe as bad as it was, right? But favorite animal right there, elk, love them. Absolutely love them. Think they're just amazing. I've had a lot of really cool encounters with elk because I winter steelhead fish too. And they're not so shy in the winter.
Right.
Who would have known?
That should be.
I've ran into several herds of elk and had very close encounters with big herds on the coast.
Yeah.
I actually, this last winter, one of the coolest things, definitely not the weirdest or whatever, but 4 herds in a day. That was awesome to me. 4 herds in one day, different herds, different locations. I traveled pretty far along the coast and ran into 4 different herds distinctly. That sounds like it's not true.
Well,
I
they're
think
probably
most
not
hunters
used to
would say,
seeing-
come on, there was you had some duplicates, they moved or something, but absolutely not. They
Probably-
did not move
yeah, they're not used
because
to
they can't
seeing,
move further. They can't move faster than my truck. So there you go.
Oh, you're in
Were
your
you-
truck.
were
I thought you
you-
were in the river.
I was driving. I didn't come up on any hiking, but I drove and I saw 4 different herds. It was pretty cool. That was a really cool. I actually caught the smallest winter steelhead of my life that day, and I ran into 4. So great.
Good day.
Those were great. I saw a bear the other day cross the river on the Rogue. That was pretty cool. I've never seen a bear swim before. I don't know if you guys have. Big river. Big river, and it swam across the entire river.
Wow.
That was pretty cool. Black
Yeah.
bear. That was-
The water's high right now too for
Yeah.
this time of year, right?
You're exactly right,
Yeah,
brother.
that's
You're
great.
exactly right. So, I've had some great encounters with fish, which super awesome, blessed to have. But I think a lot of people will say this. I think a lot of people that fish a decent amount will say this. It's the other wildlife that kind of makes it that much better. I ran into a cougar last year, about 35 feet away. Kind of scary deal.
You did?
I didn't tell you that.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, we
What was her
walked
name?
up. We walked up 4 miles up on the Deschutes, and I walked up with a couple of buddies. Both of them were carrying. I was not, and I was after that. but anyhow, yeah. My buddy said I thought I saw something up there because we had come back from camp after he had come back to camp, or we'd come back from fishing to camp, and he was there an hour before us. He said he thought I saw something, and it was dark right when we showed up to camp. And sure enough, we went up there with some flashlights, and there's a cougar sitting there about 35
Really?
feet away, dead serious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Just
mean,
watching
he
you,
was
huh?
sitting there watching my buddy while he was
Sure.
sleeping too. It's
Yeah.
just a crazy thing.
Huh.
But
What-
so that's cool, right? I mean, I actually was playing with a rattlesnake on Monday, a couple days ago, which was a bad idea because it actually did charge me.
Like Batman.
No joke.
Wow.
Stupid. I was messing with it with my spay rod. My
Where?
leather,
Where were you?
on the Deschutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A lot of snakes in that.
Yeah. Good night.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure
got
if it was
me
a
crooked.
rattler, so I wanted to,
So you wanted
see.
to do aggravated?
wanted to piss it off, right?
Tap it on the head.
And so
I
I
don't know,
whacked
man.
it a couple times
I
in
don't
the
know.
face, and it went. I went, ooh. Well, I wonder what he would do if I slapped him a few times. That's not a good idea for listeners out there. That was stupid.
That's
okay.
what you need the Tenkara rod for down there.
Yeah,
Just
well,
to
I had.
really get it
I
out
mean,
there.
yeah, it was. It was a spay rod, so it was 11 and a
Yeah.
half feet long. There you go, and it worked well. The thing started coming at me, and I was pretty quick on my feet.
I
Well, yeah,
on my
I
feet.
bet.
Went back to the river. Then I remembered I saw one swimming a few years back.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I can't get away.
I
from
went. I was up camping with my family, not on Bryce Creek.
Oh, yeah.
And just ran upriver, family was swimming and playing, and so I'm like, I'm just gonna run up there and cast a few, and walked up there on the rocks, and this snake, I don't know what it was. You know,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
it
It's a
doesn't matter.
snake.
It doesn't matter. Here's what I thought the other day. I was like, if a snake had one appendage, like one arm, even if it was like a stump, you know, like I'd be 35% less scared of it.
Yes, absolutely.
But
I'd
it
be
doesn't-
45% less
Yeah,
scared of it.
but it doesn't. So, but it jetted out into the river, and I'm like, let's head back. So,
Oh man, unforgettable
Back to the truck.
experiences.
We're out.
I'm not sure that I could say. I guess fishing wise, this last winter I caught an absolutely dime bright, beautiful steelhead, and I'd had some other experiences earlier in the day, but it was about 11:30, and I was a long ways away from home. I was about 3 hours away from home, and I landed that fish, and I took a quick picture, and I went home. I had the rest of the day to fish. I just said, it doesn't get any better than this, so I'm going. See you later. So that was pretty cool. That was fun. Every once in a while, I've done that several times, steelhead fishing, but never to that extent to where it was just a big, bright fish, 14-pound fish or so. So
is that your baby? Is that? I mean,
Is it the
well, I mean,
biggest
is
fish?
that your favorite fish to
no,
pursue?
my favorite. Oh, steelhead. Yeah, probably. I mean, it's kind of the ultimate challenge. Winter steelhead specifically. Yeah. Yeah, they're difficult to catch, and they're fun to catch when you get them, and they give you enough opportunities to keep you going, right? If you got skunked every single time, or if you never got a grab, you wouldn't want to go. But once you kind of figure a few things out, you'll consistently get grabs, and it's what you do with those grabs that matters. So
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, grabs. What's a grab?
what's a
John-
grab?
I haven't had a grab in a long time from a winter steelhead.
He was fish of 1,000 casts, John.
Yeah.
You're 999.
Yeah, see,
You write that one more cast, and you're good to go.
I did.
saw.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna interject real quick. I got introduced to a new species last weekend. I was out fishing with my uncle in upstate New York when I was back there, and he hooked into a tiger muskie. That is a pretty wicked fish.
Really?
Yeah. Looks like a northern pike, body and wise, whatever. But the coloration on that thing is pretty wicked.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a really
Yeah. The thing just absolutely crushed a crankbait.
cool. Wow.
It was like 5 feet from the boat. It was pretty awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. No steel leader or anything, but it fought like a northern after it hook up. It just like one head shake and dead weight back to the boat. Never did make a run. So
Yeah.
kind of lucked out. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, the runs. That's what it's all about. The runs, the jumps, the head shakes, the insanity that steelhead bring.
you realize very quickly you're not in control.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly it. I think it's like folks that are unfortunately addicted to drugs, right? They don't want to be. They want to lose a part of themselves, and when you hook into it, just a steelhead that's going to annihilate you. And there's some kind of not so studly steelhead, right? But a lot of the fish that we have here in Oregon are truly magnificent and studly fish. And you figure out real quick that, man, I don't know, I can't really do anything about this fish. It kind of has to do its thing and hopefully tire itself out, That's exactly it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Nader, what'd you
Tug
learn?
is the drug.
What'd you learn today, Nader? What'd you learn? Try to jump there. Cut you
Yeah.
off guard.
Yeah, you did.
You have this one opportunity to pass to another member of this podcast.
That's a bad idea, Nate. They could pass right back to you.
No passbacks.
Oh,
Stamp
no
it.
pass backs.
No pass back.
Tough deal.
Man.
Well, just from the time we spent up here today, I've definitely learned it's worthwhile coming into a fly shop and talking to people. learned a lot already, and we didn't get into the weeds very far, but looking forward to more conversations. And
Good deal. man.
appreciate you having us up, Troy.
Anytime,
Yeah,
brother.
sure.
Only you though. The other guys can.
True. Well, that being said,
Good day to you.
Keep the phone on speaker.
He's the only one that works anyway. So let's be honest.
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah.
He's the engine.
Jake.
I learned that amidst some debate, even though, albeit maybe some of it's underlying, there was some agreement that presentation and location of said fly is more important than the fly itself. That's what I learned. I did learn that. And John's a dick. 1A.
Well,
How
I
about,
already
how
knew
about you,
that.
John? What'd you learn?
No. Yeah. Go ahead, Troy.
what did I learn today?
What did you learn or not learn?
You know what? I think I learned that. I think I learned anything outdoors can be related. I'm going to specify that a little better. We all have a lot of the same experiences that are super cool, and we get to enjoy creation, whether we're trying to ninja up on a elk, or maybe spot a weary fish. We have a lot of the same experiences, and we get to enjoy the same creation, and we there's different strokes for different folks, and I'm super excited to just share those experiences with people that are like-minded and that want to enjoy the outdoors.
Nice.
Wow.
I know
That was beautiful, dude.
Super.
That was deep. That was deep. That's not where I'm going.
That's as deep as
I
it
can
gets.
tell you that. I learned that the attendance numbers for your pants optional fly tying class skyrocketed
Yes.
when your clients
when I
knew-
took off my pants.
No, when your clients knew that you were going to wear pants.
Oh, dang it! I was hoping you were gonna go somewhere else.
No.
No turtlenecks. All right.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. Well, Troy, where can people who are listening, where can they find you? You got a website, Instagram, Facebook, right?
Yep, all the above. None of the above. I'm good at mastering. Trying to do the social networking thing, like I think a lot of people are. But yeah, Watershed Fly Shop. At Watershed Fly Shop, we're there. Whether it be Facebook, Instagram, we have a website, watershedflyshop.com, or you can give us a call. Can I say my number? Is that
Yeah.
good idea?
Good old telephono.
Yeah. I prefer the telephone. I know that's ancient and
That's where you get the good info, though.
in mythology. Telephone numbers 541-207-3790. There you go.
Right
Call
on.
up, talk directly to Troy as long as he's not fishing.
Yeah, I could be fishing, so sorry about that.
That's good.
We do have knowledgeable staff here as
Yeah.
well.
Awesome,
on.
man. And if you want to get a hold of the Crave, you want to learn more about a certain topic or leave a review, good or bad, do it.
Hopefully
Please do it.
good. Don't be a D-bag and leave.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
Because you don't actually know what you're talking about if it's a bad review. To be honest. The
Leave us-
honest fly shop owner here. They get down to nitty-gritty.
That's right.
Hmm.
That's right.
Leave us some questions if you want
Yeah.
to hear more about certain aspects of fly fishing, for one. That we can circle back with Troy and
And that's the cool
bring
thing.
you
We've
a whole
talked about
bunch of,
this before
questions to you.
before we started the podcast, the three of us. We talked about hey, let's not pigeonhole ourselves into one thing. The awesome thing about fishing and fly fishing is that it's 365 for the most part. Really, I mean, so as much as we love to hunt and get out, get after it for all species, I mean it's a short window. It's generally a fall window. Maybe some spring turkey hunting, but we're going to fill all that other time with fishing. So
For sure.
let us know what you want to hear.
Yep.
And we'll if we don't have the answers, by golly, we'll find him.
Golly.
We'll find
talk
him.
to Troy.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll talk to Troy.
Screwed.
or count on him to find out who knows those answers.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Awesome. Appreciate it, guys.
Wait.
Till
Wait,
next
wait,
time.
wait,
Oh, I
wait.
about
This is
cut it off.
bonus
Bonus round?
round.
Oh, crap.
So for anybody that already logged off, that's fine. Bonus round. And maybe this will be an extra clip, but would you rather? I mean,
Yeah,
no?
we did forget that.
Yeah, I know. I looked at that, and I'm like, I looked at the 7 different options we had. I saw that on there, but
Okay. If you don't feel like it's worthy, then we'll do it another day.
I don't know. I thought about, like, it'd be worthy, like, anybody who fly fishes, relatable.
Okay.
If you don't fly fish, they wouldn't really, like.
Okay, so let's do another segment. We'll call
Am I a
it-
fool to think that anybody is still listening to the podcast?
Yes, you are.
Probably.
Ah,
How
damn it.
about a new segment called
Okay.
Jack Wagon's Lingo?
Jack Wagons.
Oh.
Jack Wagon's
Okay.
Lingo.
Okay.
This is like keep me right off the very
Okay.
right
Okay.
off the that.
Oh my goodness.
Right away when you said fishing poles, I need a fly fishing pole.
Fly fishing pole.
What?
Oh my
give me
goodness.
some lingo that people walk in here with, and you're like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
man, come on.
Okay.
Like what? Like, and I probably.
Oh
used it.
man, I got you.
Okay.
I got you, buddy.
Hit me.
Like
Okay.
calling a fly a lure.
So, is that river pretty deep?
Okay.
And I mean, okay, guys, come on. Is that river pretty deep?
You get that a lot?
A lot, believe me. And I'm going.
Like I'm gonna go wait. Can I wait across it?
Well, I mean, it kind of depends on where you are, bud. Is the river fast?
So they're like, hey,
That's
I'm gonna
another
go
one.
Also
fish the
depends on where you are.
XYZ river.
Yes. Is
And
the river
I'm
fast?
curious, is it a fast, deep river?
So, can I get the fly that's going to catch fish?
Yeah.
And I look at the boxes of flies we have, and I go, well, how many do you want?
They'll all catch some
yeah,
fish.
at some point they'll all catch fish, man. Why do we sell them if they don't catch fish?
Right.
But how random is that
Oh
river
my
deep?
god! Oh wait! Here's the best in a fly shop. Here we go.
Drum roll.
Boner.
Do you have worms?
Really?
Almost every day. In a
Wow.
Are
fly
you kidding me?
shop. Not kidding.
Well, question for you.
So I should be carrying.
Why don't
worms,
you start
right?
worms?
Yeah, no doubt. Like, you're
I'd
missing an
serve at least.
opportunity.
I'd be getting a box of worms a day. If I sold them for like $9, I'd probably be all right.
Yeah.
Like I do, but
Okay,
$5
so
a piece.
like,
Yeah.
color me ignorant.
$2 per worm.
But do they make? Can you have people try it? I'm sure. Is there a worm fly out there? Or
Is there one fly?
a
worm. A
Oh
worm.
yeah.
A
Oh
worm.
yeah.
Oh
there
yes,
is.
yes.
There
one
is.
worm,
I've
baby.
heard you've done that.
I've dabbled. I have dabbled. There is a worm fly.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it
There
does-
is
and it does
San
work.
Juan worm.
Well, there's a lot of worm flies actually.
Mhm.
A lot of there's the San Juan.
Well,
worms.
if you think about it,
I've
any
caught a lot
kind
of
of
bluegill
larva
on those.
pattern is also
well, right,
wormy.
and you know the reality is
The
there
granum
are,
caddis.
you know,
We're getting
I
off.
think it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're
This is
probably
all
not-
bonus
We're not.
stuff.
We're
This
not
is all
gonna.
bonus.
We're not
Not
going
going
to.
to be
We're not
in
going to air
the-
this at all. There's annelids,
This is usually
worms
the best
Yes.
part.
that exist
yes.
in
Lots
river
of
system.
rivers.
And during high water flow, a lot of that biomass
Whoa.
gets dislodged. And
It's like
anyhow,
saying matter. It's everything, right?
no,
Come on.
biomass,
Biomass.
big deal.
That means living matter, right?
No,
Pretty sure it does.
no, it doesn't.
No, because it can be deceased.
Because
Oh,
it's
whatever.
biomass.
Okay, so it was alive at one point.
Biomass
Yeah.
is under the umbrella of aquatic invertebrates. Thank you very much. So, as I was
If
saying,
only the man could harness this in some other way.
as
I
I was
know,
saying,
for real.
no.
If
so,
we could
so
get
worm
you
flies,
to be s-
worm flies.
worm flies,
It's
yeah,
legit.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
legit.
yeah,
Worm
sure,
flies
sure,
are legit.
absolutely.
There's a lot. There actually the patterns out there are getting very realistic.
All right,
They
let's
look
come.
just
Let's
like
come
a
back to
nightcrawler.
worm flies. What other like?
You asked.
Yeah, I did.
Whatever.
Guilty.
Open the
What was the
wormhole.
original question again?
I'm talking
what are the silly
lingo,
things?
like garbage lingo. People come in and be like, "I need a fishing pole. You got fishing poles?" Or
Oh, absolutely.
whatever.
Can I
do
get a
people
fly
ask,
pole?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a fly rod. Okay.
Not a
Why
fly
it's
pole.
a rod, not a pole, I don't know. But we're trying to.
Not a fly pole.
It's not a fly pole. We're just trying to get away from pole. Okay. I don't know why it's even disgusting to me because I
Is
probably
that- is that
said it
reserved-
the first time I asked for a fly rod.
But is
fly
pole generally reserved for conventional tackle?
Absolutely.
Okay. And there it's okay, right? But even
Yeah.
there, it's kind of like,
Rod. You're gonna call it a rod, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think yeah. I
my
think
son
you-
can call it a pole at some point.
Sure.
But even at age 3, I'm like, listen,
the
Yeah.
the
son, you've been around long enough.
Don't say that again, all right?
The-
You're getting a spanking.
You embarrass me.
the savvy, yeah. The savvy. I mean, I'm included in this. You know, the savvy gear fisherman I know because I do gear fish. If you call it a pole, it's, you get the look like, no, it's not a pole, dude. It's a rod.
Yeah.
There's no Mickey Mouse on this. It's a rod.
Is there
There's no Barbie
a
on this.
particular piece of gear that if you're out on the water, you're out on the river, and you see a guy using, you make a certain assumption about
Bobbers.
said guy,
Bobbers.
like an actual bobber,
like
sober-
oversized bobbers. Yeah.
the
Like-
red and white,
Not to be confused with
spring-fed
indicators.
bobber.
Yes.
What, the
Sir-
spring-fed bobber on a river?
I'm talking about the big red bobbers and
Round ones.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
For trout fishing, when they're using a huge oversized bobber,
Yeah.
and like, okay, you get a bite, you couldn't even tell that. Quick story, back on one of my home rivers, down at the salmon hole in fall, we were crushing the Chinook on bobber and eggs, right? We were having 20, 30 fish mornings. They were
Wow.
just stacked in these holes.
Mm.
It was great fishing.
On spin gear?
Huh? Yeah, spinning gear. Yeah, bobber and eggs.
Or, yeah.
Correct, bobber and eggs. And there was a local guy there who was maybe a little senile. Jury's out. he would throw a big plastic white bobber
Was he catching fish?
with about 6 inches underneath
Oh.
to a big size 6 bang tail, and he would retrieve it
What's a bang tail? Like a bucktail?
like a rooster tail,
Okay,
like a
gotcha.
spinner.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Yep,
Oh,
okay.
boy.
And he
That's
would
a
retrieve it
struggle.
across the surface. And
Were fish coming after that thing?
no, he
Ah,
didn't catch
dang it.
squat. And
Dang
he
it.
was
Did he have it-
devoted to it. He's like, I remember him
Did he
saying,
have it tipped with a night crawler?
No, I just remember saying, "You just wait. This is
You
going
got
to
one?
catch on one of these days. This is going to be dynamite." And the guy would literally fish that all the time.
Hmm.
And he must have caught a fish on it at one. It was probably a coho he caught.
Yeah,
But-
absolutely.
But yeah, my dad and I would just shake our heads, just like, man, wow.
what
That's
about Metolius guy? That's a worthy story, by the way.
Go.
Metolius guy with the
Brown
brookie.
trout. Brown trout.
Oh,
remember?
brown trout, brookie.
Well, there's bowls in here.
Yeah, yeah. You better tell that because you were upset. You were ticked off.
I was a little upset. I'm not gonna lie.
Troy
So,
about through
Did
a
he
guy
get
in the river.
snobbish? At his,
No, I wasn't
No.
the snobbish one.
He was. This guy was. This guy was rocking. Not to stereotype guys fish with bamboo, but
because bamboo's freaking awesome.
and
by the
bamboo is
way.
cool.
Yeah.
But this guy was.
you're not cool unless you use bamboo.
This guy was like, yeah, you see, yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's a brown trout. You
Okay.
see? Yeah. Yeah.
So John and I were actually having a pretty darn good day on the old Metolius River.
True.
We were doing well. It took us a little bit because it was 0 degrees, I think, when we started.
It was cold.
It was cold, freaking freezing. And so we go down. We caught some fish. We'd been fortunate. I actually caught a brown trout, the first and only brown trout I've ever caught out of that river. John caught a brown trout that day too. We got 2 brown. Did
True.
you? You did. You caught
I
a
did.
brown trout
I did.
on the retrieve of the Golden Stone.
Yes, I did. It was on the swing.
Not a
I don't know why
true.
that's funny.
Anyways,
See, this is
okay,
what I
it's,
get.
it's
I'm
terrible.
not-
I know
I'm
it's
not there
fly
yet.
fishing lingo, but you
Yeah.
got to get there.
Oh my God!
What a douchebag! Oh my
Can you
God.
believe it? He was still retrieving. I
Wow,
don't know. I don't
this
get it.
story is going nowhere. This story's going nowhere because of that simple statement. I just acted like the biggest.
All I'm
wise
doing
stuff.
is relating to the listeners. They're like, these guys are
Here's-
total
Okay,
He's
okay, so,
relationable.
he didn't catch it
Relationable.
the true way of drifting the fly. It wasn't the true way.
Okay, what is the true way? And like, you know,
Okay, okay, okay.
like.
Okay, so he cast it upstream, and we were throwing indicators,
not a bobber because
which are glorified bobbers, right?
Yeah,
We're
right.
throwing indicators. It's the winter. Fish aren't freaking hitting the surface, so we're throwing indicator rigs. And he catches one, as the indicator was kind of swinging through, rather than dead drifting through on a nice level plane, which is what we're trying to do. But he, the
Like it
flight.
had moved
Because
past
as
that
you're
point.
That's
and-
right, and it came up and
Okay.
drifted
As
up.
you're swinging, you're adding more drag to the indicator.
That's
and
right.
It's
so
not natural whatsoever.
it's
No
so the
fish
fly
in its
lifts
right
up in the
mind in
water
a pressured
column.
fishery would ever bite that.
Right. Yeah.
Except this one.
Except
right. Except this brown
if I
trout
was-
that
Because
John happened
I
to
was
catch.
putting the magical,
He put some.
twitch on it.
He put some egg juice on the fly. That's what happened.
PU stink bait.
Yeah, he
it's
put some
attracting.
stank bait.
it's juicing. We don't do
But
that.
anyways, so then I caught a brown trout shortly after that, right? You caught yours first, then I caught mine. I'm pretty sure that's the way. it
First and biggest, I think.
worked. Yeah, mine was bigger than his. But anyways, it's not a big deal. It's just it's a common.
It's just the only deal.
It's a
okay?
common theme between him and I. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Competition's healthy.
and
Which
then
is
we
amazing because he's never on the sticks.
went. Bam.
We were
It's
were
karma,
not
baby. It's
Fishing,
karma.
We were not fishing from a boat that day.
no, we were bank
waders.
fishing.
Gotcha. We were bank fishing.
Okay, and then
Equal play.
Troy
and
was
then-
on my stick
Oh my god,
all day long.
that's gonna be edited out.
Nope, we're gonna use it.
And then we went downriver, and we saw the guy in the tweed hat. Tweed hat? Was it a tweed hat? What do they call those cab driver hats?
Yeah,
Nate's
it
got one right here.
It
Right
was
here,
like
put it
a
on.
painter's.
Put it on.
painter's
No, it's not a painter's hat. They call it something. It's
It's a pub hat.
no, it's a different hat than that. But it's the same idea. But it's the yeah, it's douchey.
No, it's got one on each side, kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got the ear
Anyways,
flaps?
he,
The
ear
and he had,
flaps.
I
Oh.
believe
was-
he
it
had a
was up.
creel. Hey, did
Trapper.
he have a
It's a
creel?
trapper hat.
He did,
He had a creel.
which is odd because nobody keeps any fish there.
Yeah, I'm like, why do you have a grill? Maybe he put his fly boxes in there or something. And he had two bamboo rods. He had a two-handed bamboo rod, which I
Yeah.
thought was pretty cool. And then a single-handed. I actually commented that, hey, that's cool. You got a two-handed bamboo rod. That's cool. And then he, oh,
He
you
said, frankly, Sean, I don't give a damn.
how's the fishing been for you guys?
No,
So
Well,
was
honestly-
he English or
No.
yeah,
you're
we
just-
just like to think he was.
he was just a
douchebaggery.
jerk?
It's been pretty good. We weren't trying to be a jerk about it by any means. It's been pretty good. We've caught several fish, and, we caught some brown trout, actually. Oh, really? Are you sure it was a brown trout? Yeah, I am. It was a brown trout, yeah. Well, because there's bull trout in here,
Oh my gosh.
Dead serious. I'm not exaggerating.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was a brown trout. Well, if you look at the colors of a bull trout and a brown trout, buddy, it was a freaking brown trout. All right? And that's how it ended right there.
Wow.
But it kind
That
of
bothered you the rest of the day.
yes, it did.
What?
Yes,
Who
it
does
did.
that guy think he is? I'm like, I know what a freaking brown trout is. He's like, gosh, dang it. It was
I tell you what,
hilarious.
that guy fit the unfortunate stereotype
Yeah,
of the fly
yeah,
fisherman.
yeah,
That
yeah.
guy fit it to a T. He was even driving a Subaru.